Okay, there we go. We're rolling. I'm not going to try and surprise you, Kev.
I'm trying to think when, the origins of that hat.
The hat. We're going straight away with the hat.
No, I'm just trying to think back to.
Okay, well, whilst it's on your lips, I mean, firstly, hello everybody. Welcome to Luton's Deadpool podcast with me, Luton's Deadpool, and my special guest today, Kev Poulton from ABCD-in-Luton.
Thank you very much.
How you doing, Kev?
Yeah, doing well,
nice
mate.
to see you, man. Thank you very much. So yeah, we were just chatting about your hat.
Yeah, so I'm trying to remember when I started wearing it. It was sort of early 2000s I started wearing a hat. Got the nickname Black Hat Kev because my hat was always black at that point.
Yeah.
And it's just become part of my branding, if you like. So, obviously, being the size I am, I don't stick out in a crowd enough, and I just wanted more.
Yeah, no, fair, mate. I
like you, really. Yeah. You don't stand out at all.
Oh, wait, shit. I just realised something. Hold on. Shit. No, we're good. We're fine. Oh, no. I'm such an idiot. Sorry, hold on. I've forgotten to put... No. We can keep going. I just, I didn't put on my
airplane
flight mode. Yeah, and then that will interfere. Sorry, people. Okay, we're good to go. Yeah. So
it just became
part of your persona.
Yeah, I've actually been stopped in the street with, he's a tall man, wears a cowboy hat. That's how people find me now.
Oh, that's brilliant, man. But obviously, you're not just known for your hat. I mean, you do more than wear a hat. So, tell people about what your sort of. In fact, how should we do it? Let's go to the beginning of Kev.
Wow.
Right. So, so obviously, and talking about the beginning of Kev. Today is the anniversary of the beginning of Kev.
It is indeed.
It's your birthday today, isn't it?
That's correct.
So happy birthday, firstly.
Thank you very much.
Do you want to say how old you are? Or do you not?
I'm 51. So.
Fair play, man. Fair play. No, some people are funny about their age, you know.
No, not at all.
No, I don't care. You get older, man. Shit happens, you know what I mean? But no, today's your birthday, so happy birthday.
Thank you.
But let's get into who Kev is. So you're from Luton, yeah?
Yeah, very much from Luton. Family have been here centuries. We haven't moved around a lot, so Margate area when it was all farms. Brought up on Farley Hill Estate. Went to school here. Went to college here at Luton University, so Polytechnic at the time.
Yeah.
Did the O&D there, then did the degree there. So I was there 5 years, and then moved on from there. And so I've been around the town in most wards. I've lived somewhere over those years.
And what do you feel about Luton?
I love Luton. I really do. I think it's one of the best places to live. I've gone other places for 6 months or 12 months, but I've always come back. And I think Luton is unique in terms of what it offers. I think it's run down in terms of the press, and everyone talks about this. Sometimes we shout about our problems too much and not that positive. So that's why I just love this. Yeah, because it is all about the positives. Yeah. But no, I think it's an incredible place to live.
Oh, cool, man. Obviously you've been in Luton a very long time now, and you've seen the changes over the years as what it used to be like and what it's like now. You're probably one of the people that can speak on that quite a lot, man. So what's your impression of how Luton's changed over the years from when you was a kid?
Well, in some ways it's changed in terms of its demographics, but in terms of the heart of Luton, I don't think it particularly has. I think it's always been a generous town. It's always been a welcoming, community-based town. Again, growing up on a council estate, community is key. Community was key to survival at that point. Yeah. So that's where I get my love of community, love the town. Demographics have changed somewhat, but that's always positive. It just brings more and more to our town.
Yeah. What's your earliest memory of doing sort of charitable kind of work?
Wow.
Or community-based sort of work.
Well, I was part of the Boys Brigade, so sort of 8 to 16. So we got involved in things like the Duke of Edinburgh, so volunteering at that point. But really, the last 10 years, so I come away from the corporate world wanting something else, and that's when I started getting deeper involved in the community type stuff. Yeah.
So what was the first thing that you did? When you left the corporate kind of.
Probably a litter pick.
Is that where it all started?
So Friends of High Town, we did a lot there. Did a lot in that area. So it's sort of best known from there. And I'm passionate about living in a clean town. I think we all should live in a clean town. Yeah. So it started with that litter pick, then it developed. Then I got introduced to sort of the asset-based community development philosophy, and we'll hopefully go into that a little bit later.
Yeah, of course.
And that's really just where community started for me, and just watching that go.
So, why litter specifically? Why is that the thing that irks you the most?
Because it's the thing we've most got control over.
Yeah.
As an individual. Yeah. Every individual could keep outside their own house clean.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to me, it's that deep symbol of how we could do something different.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that when it comes to litter, I speak about it loads on my podcast about my feelings about litter in towns. Is, you know, it's what, like you say, it's one of the things that you can actually just easily do. You don't have to organise anything. You just need a bag and some gloves, and that's it. And you can go and sort out the front of your house. And there's a knock-on effect, right?
100%. Yeah. So it's, but for me as a society, we've got used to expecting someone else to do something for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And keeping outside our own house and the whole Keep Luton Tidy campaign is all about changing that. And it is the easiest way we can do it.
Yeah. I mean, like, you're right. It's like there's a thing of like, someone else is going to do this for me. Like, I don't need to pick up that like chocolate wrapper on the floor. I'm sure someone will come and pick it up, because you know that's generally the feeling that you get when you walk past it.
I've paid my council tax. I have that conversation.
It's not my responsibility. Yeah.
I'm keeping someone else employed by dropping my litter.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard that one as well. That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually quite disrespectful as well.
Yeah.
The way
and then the next month they'll complain how high that council tax is.
Yeah, exactly. Well, maybe if you stop dropping litter, maybe they could take that off their bill.
Or you can go elsewhere.
It frustrates me that the attitude from people that just can't be bothered, or that think that someone else should do it. I mean, where does that come from, though, man? Like, why is it that we've got a proportion of people in our community that are like that are so that, like, there's people like yourself who want to be connected to the community, and because of that, you care about where you live, like what it looks like, and the level of crime is actually something that's connected quite deeply to.
Very much so. Pride in the town, pride in where we live. It's all interconnected. And it all comes back to this. We've got, as a society, you know, we go to work, we come home, we do whatever we do at home, then we go back to work. And it becomes that trap loop. Yeah, so that wheel. And I think getting out of that to have community root-based, as we used to be, because we used to be, you know, you hear the stories, in the 50s and 60s, everyone knew everyone in the street, everyone cleaned their street. It was there. But we've drifted away to that as we've come more and more into that circular world of, and, let's be honest with you, have to do that to survive some people. Yeah. But as that's developed, we've become more and more insulated. And that idea that someone will do it for me, that idea that,
like, there's a mummy or daddy figure that's going to look after you, isn't it?
Yeah. And in some ways, the charity sector can be part of that whole thing. There's something called the Helpers Crossroads, and give you some examples from that. So, government decided that we didn't have enough folic acid for pregnant women. So, no consultation, no nothing. Folic acid got added to all flour. Problem solved.
Yeah.
Done. The charity model, very much tries to divide into, I'm going to do something for you. I'm going to label you as this, and I'm going to help and fix it. And that becomes the two. And there's a place for that, because without that, there's a lot of people that would suffer.
Yeah.
Yeah. The with space, often called co-production, that can be a bit of a dodgy one, because sometimes...
Well, what's that? I mean, you're losing me here a little bit.
So with is where you're an institution, but you pretend to do co-production. So I've consulted you on something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's with. But that can often be not true co-production, because the power base is who's got the budget, who's got the ultimate decision making.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
You can have A, B, or C. I'm not going to talk to you about D and A, because that's off my agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to do it the way I want, but I'm going to still call it co-production.
Yeah.
And then there's the buy space, and that's the one that gets the less attention, and that's communities and citizens just doing it by themselves. They're having the initiative, and if it fails, it fails. There's no one there to pick it up, but if they don't take action, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So it's not, I want to clean this street, right, we'll organise that for you, will you come along? Yeah, the whole Keep Luton Tidy is, will you come out and do it? Good, then I'll join you.
Yeah.
It's not the other way around.
Yeah, you're not actually saying I'm providing you the service. I'm just coming to help you.
Got it. So
essentially,
you've got to be willing to take the action.
Yeah, you've
first.
got all the equipment and you've got everything that the person's going to need in the world.
100%. But unless there's a group of them that are prepared to come and do something, I'm not going to go to that street or to that area.
Yeah, of course, that makes sense. I really like that idea. Actually, it's really clever because, like you say, the expectation of people for things to be done for them, it's like, I don't know why that's happened. I think we live in a culture where you can just sort of order something and it can come almost sort of the same day sometimes. You can order food from pretty much every institution. Like, man, I remember complaining when you couldn't order takeaway from McDonald's. Do you know what I mean? That feels like donkeys ago, like when it was actually more of a struggle to go and just get things. But now it's so easy to get people to do something. It's quite a big challenge. But when it comes to something like what you're doing, because people, I think the attraction to what you're doing is because people have seen that it works.
Yep.
It's getting more people involved. It's like a snowball effect. You know what I mean? That because you're showing people, look, is this easy? And then look at how much better this place looks. It inspires the neighbours to then want to do the same on the next road along, or like. Very much so.
Yeah. If you clean outside your house and it's like middle of a Saturday afternoon, I'll guarantee in the next couple of weeks, some other neighbours will do theirs.
Yeah, it happened on my road actually recently. Yeah, it happened on my road. Yeah. What I find is so there's one neighbour in particular who does their garden really nice, their front garden, and they started just adding more and more to it, like loads of beautiful flowers and loads of cool stuff. And then the neighbour next door, all of a sudden, they started doing the same.
Yeah,
it's different. It looks totally different, but it's the same kind of thing.
The same concept.
Decorating their front garden. And then that's affected the neighbours on the other side, and it's starting to spread like a little positive virus around the entire road. And
so for me, that's how change happens. Real change.
Yeah.
So there was no one that came in there and said, "You've got to do this," or "I'll give you a grant to do your garden."
Yeah.
It was, "I'm going to do my garden." Oh, he's done his garden. I'm going to do my garden.
Yeah.
And that's how I hope eventually Keep Luton Tidy will affect the town in that manner.
So you've got very much like a hands-off approach, really, isn't it? Because you come to help, but you just want this thing to grow on its own.
Yeah, very much so.
In the way, right?
100%. So so Keep Luton Tidy has had 1,800 unique volunteers since it was formed. Just under 10,000 bags of rubbish, and that's about 20 months. So it has snowballed.
Yeah.
It obviously dropped during the winter period because, let's be honest about it.
Picking
up what they do in the snow and the wind.
People look out their window like.
But there were still groups. There were still groups that came out even in that weather.
Yeah, no, that's big. That's really impressive.
And have come out every single month. And there's other groups that have come out. They used to start monthly, and there's less to do, so they come out bi-monthly.
Oh wow!
Dunrave is a good example of that. First couple of times there, we took lorry loads out of fly tipping and everything, loads and loads the first few times, and then it went from monthly to bi-monthly. And then the last time we did it, there was one bag for the top of the road, one bag for the bottom of the road, and there was like 6 people collecting. It was like, that's it, done.
Wow!
So that road has stayed tidy, but that's not a high street.
Yeah, that's true.
So it will affect every road. Yeah,
because I think the biggest difficulty isn't necessarily the people that actually live there. It's people driving through and throwing stuff out of their car.
It can be, but
that's a big problem, especially on the more busy roads as well.
That's it.
That's a real hard one to tackle because I see it so much, and oh my god, it makes me want to jump out of the car. I swear, it makes me so angry because I was driving in front of this guy. And he literally dumped his entire McDonald's bag out the window, just like that, into the middle of the road. And then I see him go and pull up afterwards because I didn't follow him. Yeah, we just so happened to be going to the same place.
I believe you.
No, we just so happened to be going to the same place. I don't follow people because that's creepy, and I'm sure the police would want to arrest me for that. but what I did, I followed him into this car park. No, I'm joking. So we parked next to each other, and I got out, and there was a bin right next to his car where he parked. I was like, mate, you could have just thrown that into the bin, and he just wouldn't respond.
No.
And I mean, for me, I'm not trying to sit on my high horse or anything here, because my car is a state, because I refuse to litter. So instead, my litter builds in my car,
Yeah.
and I have to clean it out once a week instead. But I'd rather people do that.
No, 100%.
But if you know, at least the rubbish goes in the bin at the very end.
But it is a cultural thing. So if you go to places like Japan, you will not see a drop of litter. No one will even think about dropping litter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we need to get back to, is that culture. And if enough people are caring and cleaning the streets, so it's okay if you think the council are going to come and do it. But if your neighbour's been out there cleaning it, hopefully you'll think twice, maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
And that's changing the way we do things around here.
Yeah.
And hopefully that will be the change.
Well, yeah, no, I think that getting the communities involved is incredibly important as well, because not only does, by doing this cleanup, you're not just cleaning the road, you're also building a community. Like, you're making people more friendly with each other. I bet you hear that a lot as well.
Very much so.
Yeah, I bet the communities that have come out and to do the tidy, now they're doing it and they're friends, and they're probably going to be doing some barbecues over the summer together and
whatever. They're now talking to each other.
Yeah.
Now, and again, we got into this routine where we come home, we do what we do, we go to work. We're busy at the weekend, doing the chores. We don't talk to each other.
Yeah.
So you could live literally 4 or 5 doors from someone and not know their name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for you though, like, so there's a lot of people out there that are going to say, like, oh, but I want to talk to my neighbours, and I'm quite happy being in my insulated little house. So why is that so important to you? Like, how can you argue against someone who just doesn't care for the community side of things?
I think there comes a time in everyone's life where feeling connected does become important. So my argument is, okay, if we build community strength like this in knowledge of people, then whatever comes along, we're resilient to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I gave you an example of the food bank last time we chatted.
Yeah.
I think food banks are absolutely essential for a lot of people right now. But the step up from that would be knowing that your next door neighbour's suffering and cooking him or her a meal when you cook your own.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't need the food bank. So we're sort of moving the need from institutions up to communities.
Yeah.
So in terms of your direct question, those that don't want to get involved will start to feel I'm missing out on something when they go out their door and they see 3 or 4 neighbours chatting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we are a sociable.
As human beings.
So it will start to become, and it might just be a nod or how you doing, and then that'll grow.
Yeah, because I find that people will also we're scared of each other, right? This is why we don't talk.
Yeah,
I think we're scared of each other. We're scared to make a fool of ourselves. We're scared in case of letting someone in as well sometimes, because you might have been hurt before, or you're scared that that other people just aren't going to like you. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And let's be honest, we're not all going to get on with everyone. Yeah, people are going to rub people up the wrong way or not get on here, not get on. That's fine, but there will still be a base level connection.
Yeah,
of I know who that person is. I feel safer because I know who that person is.
Yeah,
who's supposed to be.
I mean, if there's an emergency one day,
that's it.
Who better than your next door neighbour to help you out of a situation? It doesn't even matter what it is, whether it's like your car's not working, you don't know how to get your kids to school, but there's an old dear down the road who she's up at the same time as me, and she's offered in the past, so maybe I could go and see. But then you don't have a community, you don't have that, and then you're going to struggle. Just because of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it definitely has its benefits, man. I'm on board. You know this as well. I'm asking you because I want to get the answer so people can understand.
No, absolutely. I think as we build those connections, and it builds a town that's friendlier. It builds a town that hasn't got those base problems on it. So we know where issues are, and every town of this size, there's 250,000 of us in Luton.
Yeah,
it's going to have issues, but it minimises those issues. It gives you different solutions to those issues.
Yeah, I mean, what's the knock-on effects to not tackling these issues? Like litter.
If we didn't do it, I think it's the broken window, isn't it? When you see litter, you're more likely to litter, or people are more likely to litter. That then drives crime into that area. And I'm not saying if we have clean streets, all the crime in Luton's just going to disappear. That's not going to happen. but it just makes it a better place
It
to
does.
live.
That has an effect, though, doesn't it?
It does have effect.
What is that? Like, I've read about this before, and I have a really, really basic understanding of it. But what's the deal there?
The deal is how you feel about a place. The pride in the place, the pride of connection, the pride of belonging. And if you belong, you're less likely to damage.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I thought. I was hoping that you had like in this part of the brain, when the brain sees that the area is clean and the brain says no crime, and you know what I mean? I wanted some kind of.
I'm sure there are behavioural studies in there.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of that in New York in terms of the broken window syndrome.
Yeah.
A lot of studies done on it, and it's
what is the broken window syndrome?
The broken window syndrome is just literally that. If you don't fix the windows, the place slowly gets worse, and then it gets the next bit worse, and then it takes the next bit worse.
That's so weird, isn't it? So weird that like, because we're so impressionable as people that something as simple as like even in your own house, if you don't clean your house regularly, it becomes a thing that you actually start to take on the mood of the house. You know what I mean?
The base feelings, the base, way you operate changes.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I kind of feel terrible when I get into my car every day because I'm like, not again. Seriously, I need to start taking bin bags into my car. I need several little bin holes just in my car where I can throw my rubbish. I'm terrible. I'm so bad. Seriously,
but much better there than the streets. So.
Exactly. That's what I like to think. I know it's bad. I just don't let anyone get in my car. And besides, I've got swords and guns in the car, and it's going to be too long an explanation as to why all of this stuff is happening. So I tend to.
Yeah, I must admit, there's occasionally if I've done, I haven't been to the bin bag. So during a litter pick, I can often pick up things that need to go elsewhere. So I shared with you an axe last Luton.
Oh yeah. I got rid of an axe for you.
Or a knife of some sort.
Yeah.
So I can have a small collection of those. Collection of Nos canisters, a collection And so I have to think, well, if I'm pulled over at this point,
you're going to get into a lot of trouble. You're going to know straight away. Go, sir, can you open your boot, please, for me? And go open it. Right on the floor, sir, on the floor. Oh man. So yeah. Anyway, we've been talking about ABCD in Luton. For anybody who doesn't know, because I mentioned ABCD at the very start when I introduced you into the show, but we haven't actually alluded to like this is what the campaign is that you've been working.
All right. So let's start from the beginning. So ABCD stands for Asset-Based Community Development.
Okay.
And that's a philosophy of the way community becomes sustainable, just like we've been talking. Yeah, sharing assets. And it came out of the States in the 1970s by a guy called John McKnight. I follow a guy in the UK, and he's actually global now, called Cormac Russell. They're like the godfathers. They've got a couple of books on it. They're really big, going into institutions, going into schools, councils, are saying, well, there's this fourth quadrant, we should be concentrating there. Here's another way we could be doing this.
Yeah.
And they've got lots and lots of examples of how it works. So that Help Us Crossroad, that comes from them. Yeah, so I often quote them a lot.
Yeah.
So so as part of that, the first initiative, and I have to admit at the moment the only initiative, was Keep Luton Tidy.
Yeah.
And that came out of the passion of the people that founded ABCD. That was myself and Phil Rainey.
Yeah.
And our passion, we were organising litter picks before ABCD, both singly and together. Decided during the pandemic to go and do something. It snowballed into ABCD.
Yeah, and ABCD is such a wonderful thing that you've created, and I don't even know what to call it really, because it's so unique in what it does.
I like to label it a people's movement rather than anything else.
Yeah. It's not really like a company or like.
No.
It's really hard to put your finger on what it is, but all I know is it's a force of good.
So the first thing I get asked is, are you part of the council?
Oh yeah.
Yep. Mainly because we've chosen the same colours as the council. We work really close with the council. We partnered with Love Luton because I thought that was a really good organisation that showed the pride in Luton. So we partnered with those early on. They helped us with some of the early marketing stuff. They've been great supporters. We couldn't do what we do without the council because they're the ones that ultimately come and take it away.
Yeah.
So we collect it into piles, but they're the ones that come and take it for us.
Yeah.
We couldn't do that ourselves. But we're not of the council. We're not led by the council.
You're your own entity. Yeah.
Our agenda doesn't come from the council.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're completely separate in that that regard.
Yeah.
And I think that's important to get across, because a lot of people do say, "Oh, you're just another council initiative."
Yeah. Of course. And no, but it's because the reason why that's important as well, and I totally understand why you press on it so much, is because it is not about an institution doing this.
Got it.
It's about the people doing
That's
this.
it, and that's the difference.
I love that.
Yeah. Love the council. I think they spend
they're good
far too much money picking up after us.
Yeah.
And they're lovely.
I'm sure that if we could get that money cut down, then the services that the council provide would get better.
Or it would go somewhere else. So absolutely. So 100%. So we're not of the council. There is a CIC behind it, and that's there just in. I don't follow the traditional funding cycle, so I don't go for funding normally. But occasionally, I need, another set of hoops, another set of hose, another set of brooms. So occasionally, I will ask for money or goods. So it's there just for that purpose. So there's nobody that gets paid any money from ABCD. So nothing comes to me personally. Nothing comes to anyone else.
So that's even more brilliant as well. That you're not doing it for the financial gain at all. I think that's quite important to a lot of people when they see something good happening as well. Is that I know. Look, man, everyone's got to make money and everyone's got to eat, right? But at the same time, I've always found it really hard when I see people that are supposed to be doing community or like charity-led things and they drive in Mercedes-Benz. I find it really hard. It's just a personal thing with me.
No, absolutely.
If you've had that Mercedes-Benz pre the charity thing, I'm not having a go at you, But if you've used the money you've got from working for that thing,
there are so many international charities
feels a bit wrong
with executives on £250,000, and you just think, how do you sort of sum that up? And I think that does take you down a path of, I've got to go for the next funding cycle just to pay my core costs. So you end up being led by where the money is.
I understand exactly what you're saying. I mean, I've been thinking about setting something up to create a CIC myself. So I'm in the process of making the plan for it. But I really don't want to profit from it in any way, shape or form. And this has kind of been my core belief of everything that I've done so far, because the two things I think would have made people not believe in what I believe in is if I was chasing like fame or if I was chasing fortune. You know what I mean? That would instantly make me disingenuous, and people would just go, "Nah, don't want anything to do with it."
Absolutely.
So that's not my goal in what I do whatsoever. I want what you want. I don't. Do you know what? Ultimately, I don't want to put this mask on. I don't want to put the suit on. I want everybody else to do an imaginary one of that, and to start doing the things that I do like this. Do you know what I mean? Because if we all look, you don't have to be in a 4-hour, like 40-degree heat like I was out in the summer last year and busting your ass to raise money for charity. But you can do something. Like there's a lot of people that do nothing. They do absolutely nothing, make money all day long, but then they do nothing to give back to their community and to society as a whole. They just live in this little insulated tube, and their family are sorted, and that's great. I'm glad that they look after their family, because so you should. But then there's no thought about, well, what does my life mean at the end of it? How much have I actually changed my environment around me? And is it good? Is it bad? Have I done nothing and just stood by and watched it get worse? And there's a lot of people out there that just don't have that thought in their head.
I think for me, there's a book called Seven Habits of Effective People by Covey, and there was a great quote in there which really struck with me. Was, we're so busy climbing the corporate ladder, we don't stop and check which wall it's against.
Oh, wow.
And for me, that was my life.
That's deep,
I was so busy climbing that corporate ladder, and I was very good at climbing that corporate ladder, but then I got to the top and thought, why did I climb that ladder? What's here? Exactly. No, I'm kind of glad. Like I recognised like fairly early that I was working towards something that I didn't ultimately want. I'm very, very lucky that I caught on quick with that, because there's a lot of people that don't, and like you say, actually make it to the end of that ladder, and then they go, "What have I done with myself? Like this means nothing." I've earned in some jobs I've earned an absolute pittance, and in some jobs I've earned an absolute ton. And I've always been happy in jobs where I earn less. Right.
Always. There's never been a time when earning more equaled more happiness. It just equals more stress. It equals less time with people, and it equals more pressure on you. Do you know what I mean? Like,
and I think it's ultimately, has that made a difference to anyone but this corporation?
yeah, exactly. I don't like lining their pockets. I really don't, because they're the ones that take from us all the time. Whether it's taken from us in an environmental sense, if it's taken from us in a financial sense, if it's taken from us in a political sense, they're always just taking. All the people up there in the tops, like standing up there deciding things for us on a daily basis, whether it's how much a certain product's going to cost, or what your children are going to learn in school, or whatever it is. They're not actually doing it for the benefit of us. I like what your line of thinking is. There should be more power with the people in the community, right? Like, we should have more of a say as to how things get spent in our community as well. Like, there's so much more to it. I think we can't do any of that though until we have a strong community, which we currently
100%.
don't.
So the first step is the building of that community.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm passionate about keeping Luton tidy, but my next door neighbour might be passionate about something completely different.
Yeah.
And it's just working out what they're passionate enough about to take action on.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key. What are you prepared here to get up and do something about?
Yeah. No, I agree. It's like I think that innovation and everything cool that comes out of the world, it always comes like from a really like low level, right? It doesn't come from a giant corporation.
No.
It's always like a genius, like a one dude or small team of people that are all really driven to this one goal. And it's not because there's someone over them that's trying to make them do this thing. It's just the will and the want and the kind of the communal aspect of it between these people.
100%. It becomes like, look, close knit. What can we do? What can we play with? Yeah, that flexibility to, that didn't work right, bin it.
Yeah.
What's next?
Yeah, you don't get that with a company that's got an idea and a budget. You get that from people who are just working every hour of every minute of every day. The stronger that our communities are, the more likely that people from, like, I always find it's always people that do great things are always from poor working class backgrounds.
Okay.
Look, I know that's not going to be a universal truth, right? But there are a damn lot of people who are incredible, like maverick type people who have come from absolutely nothing.
Some of that might go back to the fear of failure. Because I think as a society, again, especially in the UK, we fear trying in case we fail.
Yeah.
And that almost comes back to you're connecting to your neighbour thing.
Yeah.
What happens if I'm rebuffed? What happens if I fail there?
Yeah.
And that fear of failure is somehow, I don't know if it's embedded in the school system, the education system, if it's deeper than that, but somehow we've all got to this fear of, I care too much about failure, what might happen to try.
Yeah, I think in that it's because the success is the thing that is highlighted and only highlighted. We're not, like, people don't talk about Michael Jordan when he was a kid and he couldn't make a shot.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like, they don't talk about the hours that he would spend outside of his house trying to shoot. Yeah. Nobody will ever talk about that, where he was failing, where his brothers were better than him.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about it. They only talk about when he played for the Bulls and how sick he was. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, the absolute peak.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing, like, when you're, I had this big problem for me growing up, that, like, I really needed people to tell me that I was doing well. Otherwise, I didn't feel like I was doing well. I thought I was failing all the time. And I wasn't actually doing that bad. I was just a kid. Do you know what I mean? Just a kid. And the pressure that's on a teenager to, like, you need to figure out your life and you need to...
You're 13. What are your options? What's your life going to be?
And then you've got all of these great people as idols. Then they you're often asked as well, who do you look up to the most? Who's your greatest idol? And kids always pick people like Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi or some absolute god of a human being, right? and that's where they set their bar. Like, if you ask little boys, who's the person you look up to most, they're going to pick a footballer of insane skill and ability.
Yeah.
And then anything less than that is a complete and utter failure.
Yeah.
And because of the way we build ourselves, it means that then that kid that might, that doesn't necessarily get a bit of encouragement, but they love their football, they might go, I'm not going to pursue football.
Yeah, I think that's compounded also with our social media, because everyone on social media shows their success.
Yeah.
Shows their best image.
Yeah.
Not the 25 where it didn't come out right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love your podcast because they always start the same way. Did I put airplane mode on?
I really need to sort out. That's seriously me just being I haven't done one for like a week or something.
But
so
how many people would edit that out?
Yeah, I know. Do you know what I had someone say to me before? Because the way I ended one of my podcasts was absolutely horrendous. It was really, really bad. And they was like, "Oh, you're going to cut that out?" And I was like, "No." Because for me, I think it's funny. I want to look back in years to come and go,
but that comes back that comes back to being genuine, grounded, and actually that comes back to being real.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the real us.
Yeah. I definitely 100% part of what I'm doing with this is I'm trying to show people that I am an absolute amateur that doesn't know what they're doing at all. Yeah. All I want, I can't believe sometimes that people like you, someone that I used to follow for years, like on social media, before, when you started doing all your stuff and I started seeing your name was just bloody everywhere. I used to say to my missus, this guy's name's everywhere, it's doing my head in. And he's always doing good stuff. Why is everyone like this guy? Nobody likes me. And it's because, I wasn't doing anything, and that's why I felt so bad. But, I've completely lost my thread. Oh yeah, it was about failure.
It's about being real. Not editing out the mistakes.
Yeah. Like I always like that about you. So you're that kind of a person as well. And I think that what's important in what you do is we need to start showing people the mistakes, right? Like I try to show people my mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. I say stupid shit all the time where I think that I'm right about something. Yeah. Like I said something on a podcast a couple of weeks ago. I can't even remember what it was. I just remember the feeling afterwards of how bad I felt. Right. Because I'd said something that I didn't believe in at all.
I might have offended someone or might
I don't think I offended someone. I think I just made myself look incredibly thick.
Yep, okay.
So I said something really stupid. I can't remember what it was.
Right.
It was something that was factually incorrect though.
Yep.
And my friend afterwards, he told me when he watched it, he was like, "Man, you said this and you're completely wrong." And I was like, "Oh no." Well, it's out there now. I'm not going to take it back. Right? It's out there. I don't care. Like, that's a mistake. So I just addressed it on the next podcast.
Yep.
And I was like, well, I made a mistake on this podcast. I said this thing, and I've since found out I'm wrong. Whoop-de-doo. There we go. Move on. Do you know what I mean?
That's it.
It's better to learn from your mistakes than it is to hide them, I think. I don't know. Maybe people think that my podcasts are rubbish, yeah? But I like filming them, right? And I feel like since doing them, I'm better at conversations with people, like just on, like outside of this, just talking to people. I have much better conversations now.
Developing that skill set.
Yeah, it's like I really, like beforehand, sometimes I'd be looking to get out of a conversation with someone. Whereas now it's like, I can't get enough, man. I want to know more. And I feel like it's all because of this, and it's because of the failure and because of the success of it as well,
Coming to the store like that, one of the hardest things most people will tell you in business is the networking event. Yeah. It's going to a room with strangers and networking. Small walking, pushing, whatever. So what I love about just coming together like this casually is it takes all that pressure off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that develops your skills of, actually, I'm just going to listen and find out what you're on.
Yeah. Isn't listening such a key skill, right? Such a key skill where we, most of the time in normal life, like you just don't pay attention to someone else because you've got like a million other things on your brain.
Yeah.
And, maybe what they're saying is not that interesting to you, but maybe you missed the part where it was interesting and you could have been there to help that person. Maybe you missed a thing that they were saying where that person's actually in danger, right?
Possibly.
It's so important to develop that skill of hearing someone else and
or hearing what they're not saying.
Yeah, exactly. Being aware of like body language and stuff like that. It's super important because there's times when I'm out on the street dancing and stuff, and people come up and talk to me, obviously, I love how I just say, I'm out on the street dancing. You don't even flinch. Oh man, my life is so flipping weird, I swear. Right, no,
Well, that's because I'm next door picking up the litter, mate. So.
Yeah, you see plenty in town. You see plenty. No, but like, so I'll be out doing my thing, and then people will just come up and chat to me, and I don't put a time limit on how long I talk to someone. Yeah, like my missus might put a time limit on it, though. She'll shout at me afterwards. But I don't. I just talk. I'll talk all day. If you want to come and sit down in front of me and talk all day long, we're here. I'm here for it until you're done. And,
okay, guys, this is going to be the longest podcast in history.
It's true, though, man. It's good because, like, I don't know what we're going to say, and I don't know I don't know where it's going to go.
No.
You might really need it as well. I might really need it. I might not realise I'm having a shit day because you do that sometimes, right? You'll be having a shit day, walking around with this bad feeling. You don't even know you're in a bad mood.
Yeah.
And then you'll talk to someone, and then you'll just realise, you go, "Oh my god."
I snapped there. I was snappy. I did that.
Yeah, I was actually being a bit of a knob, and they called me out on it. And do you know what? Now I can have a better rest of my day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's super important to give people that time to talk, because you don't know how much you're actually. The amount of times, like, I've spoken to friends, and I see them just sort of go onto their phone, and then they're just not paying any attention whatsoever. I'm like, maybe what I'm saying may benefit you, and maybe you could say something that benefits me, and this could be a positive conversation, but you're just not going to participate at all, and it's kind of both of our loss then in the end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's important to be able to, like, learn to talk and learn to listen, because it builds up like a superpower.
Yeah, I think it does. I think coming back to something that's quite passionate about me is not putting labels on people.
Yeah.
And not putting expectations. I think for years, one of the first questions to Brady asked, "What do you do for a job?"
Yeah.
Well, that instantly says, "All right, if you're not in a job, I've disregarded what you do.
Yeah.
Your life.
Yeah.
I'm going to measure you.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're basically doing.
Yeah.
Where are you on the status table? Where are you? Oh yeah, I'm comfortable with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's what it is.
Do you know what I like to do? This is why I've got such a benefit in being like this, right? So obviously, like me, I am honest about everything to do with me. Yeah.
Yep.
But when people ask me questions like that, I change it every time.
Yeah.
Every single time. Like, I told someone I worked in a zoo, and I was the guy that looks after the hippos the other day. I'm not joking. You believe me? I hope he's watching this, and he's like, "Ah." Well, I seriously did. It was like, there was another person who I said that I milk cows for a living. And they were like where?
Where would you go with that?
Yeah, they were like, where? Like, where do you go? And I'm like, just there's a barn down the road, and I'll pull. You
should send me on kids, the concrete ones.
But you know what I mean? I like to mess with people, man. Like when they ask questions like that, because that's such an irrelevant question. You're so right. What I do does not determine who I am.
Yeah.
I used to work in a warehouse, right?
Yeah.
With like 40 people, yeah. And not one of us was the same. Not one of us had the same interest.
Yeah.
Not one of us had the same demographic from where we're from, or our family, or like, were we married, were we single, were we divorced, were we old, were we young? Like, everybody was different, right? The skin color, level of expertise, like everything. But then if I told you I work in a warehouse, you're going to go, "Oh, he's like
click."
Yeah, like you know what I am. Yeah. It's irrelevant.
It is.
Yeah.
But it's how we get trained. Yeah, and I do believe that we get trained to ask that question, because it's the easy one to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes next to what's the weather. Did you find here all right?
No, do you know what? I like to ask people questions like, "Are you religious?"
Right.
That's the question I like to ask people, because that can go into so many things, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, if I say you're religious, and people can go, "Yeah, well, when I was a kid, I got taken to church, but I'm not really anymore." And then we can go into like, "Okay, well, what do you think about things?" And like, that's what I want to know, because I'm trying to figure out what I think about things.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, this is the thing that I think people won't admit ultimately, right? But we get all our ideas from each other. Yeah. Like, we don't get our ideas necessarily from ourselves. You can build ideas as you get older.
You form them,
but then you're always being influenced by someone else's ideas. And it's always, whether it's someone that you're inspired by or if it's somebody you completely despise and you want to be opposite to.
Yeah,
You know
I think
what I
there's a
mean?
danger of that, because I think it comes back to that conformity. I want to fit in.
Yeah,
It then creates a pressure not to be you.
yeah,
Yeah. So, give you the example of the other week when we corresponded. It was like, oh, I don't think this person should speak out because I don't agree with their views. And I come back at you, well, let's listen. I think it was the Sun, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. Oh mate, that was your
Right.
point of view on that was brilliant. Can we break that down so people know what we're talking about?
Certainly. So the Sun, I can't remember whether they criticised something or
It was they talked to people in Luton and asked them like how shit a place it was to live.
Right. And you were saying, well, we should ban the Sun.
Yeah.
The Sun newspaper.
Yeah, I said that. Yeah.
Sort of like they do in Liverpool.
Yeah.
I'm of the view we should hear those views and debate them openly.
Yeah.
And I believe that on all the fronts. So that, a lot of my opinions can be challenging, but I'm willing to change some of them if you've got the right evidence.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, for me, I always feel like if I'm talking to somebody who is more of an expert than me in a certain field, I'm more attentive to what they're saying as well. I'm not necessarily going to just agree with what they're saying, but at the same time, like, I'm going to be way more attentive to what that person's saying.
So I think all those opinions should be on the table, even if they're bordering on hate speech. And there's many of my friends that get offended by some of the stuff and get hurt by some of the stuff.
Yeah,
because that's what offended is. It's hurt, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's better to be there than under the table or down in the person in the back house. I think it's open. Let's keep it open.
Yeah.
Yeah. So rather than ban the speech, I want to say, well, okay, well, I see what you're saying. I agree with that 10%, but I disagree with that 90%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's more healthy for a society.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. No, I agree. Like for us to be able to talk about everything, no holds barred.
Yeah.
Get everything out on the table and decide what's good and what's shit, and get rid of the shit and keep the good. That's way better. But unfortunately, we don't really live in that world.
We don't.
where people are like that. People are very defensive about their ideas, and if anything, people assume that their ideas and who they are the same thing. Yeah. And because of that, if you attack their ideas, you attack who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is such a hard thing then to win an argument with someone with, because
you're trying to win the argument without hurting the person.
Yeah, you can't. It's impossible, because if you say, for instance, someone has their political views are heavily tied into their ideology, and then you say you don't agree with this, this, and this, you could literally be at a point of losing that person as a friend.
Yeah.
Because you've disagreed on certain viewpoints. But I don't think that we need to feel like what our ideas are or who we are. Like, for instance, when I was, I'm going to reveal a little bit, a little bit of an overshare, if anything, as well. Okay. When I was 5 years old, I thought the taste of bogies was delicious.
Okay.
I thought you couldn't get anything better than a good crunchy bogey. Right? Okay. But would I eat bogies now? I mean, if I was hungry, no, I'm joking. No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Well,
but my idea changed.
That's why the whole mask is just really stop.
Yeah, it's just crusted with. I'm sorry if anyone is eating right now. I'm sorry. I can't help myself. I'm sorry. No, but I used to think that I don't know. I used to think that Man United was the best team that's ever graced the entirety of planet Earth, but I've since learned that no, they're not. Luton Town is, and I will not be changing my opinion on that one.
Okay.
No, but you can change your opinions on things. You can change your ideas about things.
And
you can make it better.
And that's not a sign of weakness. That's a sign of strength.
Exactly, because do you know what? Every time that you open your heart, you get bigger and better, and you become more able as well to do things. It's like people that tell me that they don't drive, right? And I'm like, okay, fair enough. Like, some people just don't drive, didn't come up, they didn't have the opportunity. But some people had the opportunity and chose not to drive, right? Yeah. And then I'm like, well, I know you can get about on public transport, but my gosh, when you've got a car,
don't.
You can go anywhere. Yeah. Like I remember not being able to drive and how much of a limitation it was.
Right.
And then I get my car and like, oh my gosh, I can go absolutely anywhere. And like, some people just, the thing is you're not, you're not going to be aware of it until you've got that license, and until you go for your first drive and you go, oh my God, I just went to this place and no one told me where I had to turn or anything. Like, I just went to this place rather than get on this giant tin can that takes me from this stop to this stop to this stop to this. Do you know what I mean? Like, not to diss anyone that uses a bus. I used to use a bus. Buses are great if you like them. But, you know, for me, I think that by enabling myself to be open, because it is scary learning to drive. Like my partner at the moment, she you know, I'm dissing people that can't drive. She can't drive.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm sorry, Mrs. Deadpool, but yeah, she doesn't drive, and it's because of her fear of driving. Right, she's scared to drive, and I can't teach her because, like, I just can't teach her to do anything, because if I try and teach her to do something, it doesn't work. You know, she can learn off anybody else. And there's just this block, like, she can't teach me, I can't teach her, so we get other people to teach us.
That's right.
Do you know what I mean? It makes sense between us anyway. Okay. But yeah, so she for her, she's got that fear, and I know loads of people that have that, where they're like, oh, I'm you know, I'm worried that something might, or they get behind the wheel and they're like, and they're freaking out. Do you know what I mean? And if you can just break past these fears, you open your world up to so many opportunities. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And fear does hold us back, and it's the fear of failure. It's the fear of what could happen. Yeah.
Oh man, sorry. Do you know, it's bloody hot in here. It is. It's this Udi, I think.
What can I say? Deadpool in a Star Wars.
Well, I love Star Wars, man.
Okay.
This is the thing. I had someone the other day. Who was it? I can't remember who I was talking to. I was talking to someone the other day, and they was like, oh, I bet your house is covered in Deadpool stuff. I was like, no, it's actually not. I've got a Deadpool teddy.
Right.
That's about it. I used it the other day as my avatar because I couldn't be bothered to go on camera, so I just used the Deadpool teddy to speak for me, which was really fun. I'm going to be doing a hell of a lot more of that. I might start doing, like, because I get Teams meetings and stuff like that, I might start using the teddy to talk to people.
So you actually go downstairs, so there's just you, there's Mini you, and there's Teddy you.
And there's Teddy me. Oh, my Mini Paul, she's the cutest though. She is the absolute cutest. It's funny actually, sometimes when I go home, she'll just be walking around in her suit. I swear, I don't even tell her. I will have been out in the suit, and I come home, and she's in the suit. She's like, look, see, I'm like you, Daddy. She loves it. She absolutely loves it. We're thinking about letting her come to an event. I've kind of kept my kids away from things.
I think the question would get asked, where do you live?
Yeah,
what's the name? And she's not quite as...
Yeah, this is... Well, no, it's not so much that. It's because I had a couple of people stalking and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, for a period of time. So I just made the decision to stop bringing my kids out when I was doing like the bucket collections, just in case. You never know what's going. Man, I'll take risks myself, but I won't take them with them.
Of course.
But there are a couple of more friendly events coming up that I'm thinking I might bring Minnie Paul along to, because she's desperate to come see people, and I know people will absolutely love her. Okay. You think that I'm something? Minnie Paul will blow your socks off. She's incredible.
Okay. Well, that could bring us on really nicely to what I'm planning for the next few weeks.
Oh, well, yeah, that's actually what we have right here, isn't it?
It is indeed. So,
this is the ABCD-in-Luton Clean Across the Town
Sweep across the town. So,
yes.
So let's get into this. So, there's something called
Let me bring this up to the camera. There you go. You can see it's got all the live dates on. Whilst you talk, go on, you talk.
Okay, so there's a national initiative called Keep Britain Tidy. So, which is the Great British Spring Clean and Keep Britain Tidy.
Yep.
So that happens everywhere. So there are thousands of people across the UK that litter pick. Yeah, and we all come out at this time and we try and encourage others to do it. In Luton, we used to organise this with Team SP and Phil Rainey.
Yep.
That was pre-pandemic. Now we try and organise this, and we are starting to get big. And I mean big. Last year we did 37 events, 563 volunteers. So this year we have to go bigger. Because you have to go bigger.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So this year we put together this schedule of 40 events. It involves people that have been involved before, but I also like to go get lots of people that haven't been involved.
Yeah.
There's loads of kids involved. So on Saturday there's 3 events. Shoreline Lane Boxing Club, kids boxing club going out.
Oh, yeah.
Around the community centre. Then we move into Hockwell Ring, where great friend Jamie Kelly, the Green Team, which I just love working with. They're doing Hockwell Ring and heading that one up for me. And then the other group that I've worked with loads, which is Faisal and the Bradley Road Mosque, they're doing Brantwood Park on Darrow Road. So 3 big events back to back. They'll be full of kids cleaning Luton. And I think that's the ideal way to kick off what we do.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that you've always involved kids in what you do.
Yeah.
I think that's very purposeful as well, isn't it?
Yeah, very much. You know, if you can get more kids picking up litter or saying, we don't drop litter, hopefully that gets continuing through high school and then gets continuing into the adult life. There's more. Basically, I'm just trying to indoctrinate the town into not dropping litter.
Well, I don't think it's a bad thing to indoctrinate people into doing. Yeah. I think it's a noble cause, man.
But it's also the energy. The kids love it. It's a game to them. How much can they find?
Yeah.
How much can they put in the hoop? How much, you know?
Yeah.
And the personality of the kid really comes out. So you'll have one that will, you know, sprint over the opposite side of the field to pick up a bit of litter. And then another one that won't move from like 1 metre squared, picking up every single little bit they can get. Yeah. So the real personalities of the kids come out. They always really enjoy themselves. They always feel like everyone that gets involved feels they've done something good.
No, that's awesome, man. And I'm really proud that you're doing this for our town. I love that. I love that you've organised it and that you've got so many people involved already, and it's going to be humongous. I'm really looking forward to coming out next week and helping you. I'm going to help you with 5 days next week.
Yep.
From Monday to Friday as best as I can.
No, absolutely.
And hopefully we're going to absolutely smash it.
So the real catch, so there is at least one community clean-up in every single ward, so that's covered.
Yeah.
But this year, if you like, the catch, the unique thing was to try and sweep across the town, literally, which has been our logo, our strap phrase since we started. So we're going to start in Quiche Hospice, right up in the far north, and go down the A6, through the town centre, down Park Street, up Cuno, and then at Capability Green, one group after another. Now, it's not a relay, I've stressed that, because I couldn't quite make that happen. But over the course of those 16, 17 days, that route will get filled in. Yeah. And it will get filled in by residents, businesses.
That's amazing, schools. I love that. I absolutely love that.
The fire brigade, if I can get them in the river. You know, anyone I can get involved will get involved.
No, that's awesome, Kev. Seriously, man. I'm so impressed with the plan, and I'm really excited to get involved with you next week. And where can people find the timetable?
Okay, so it's ABCD-in-Luton /KLT 2023.
So there you go. That is it.
So that's the schedule. So
that is the schedule up there, and that's the website on the.
So that's got all the meet points. Side. To get involved, you literally just turn up. Yeah. Turn up in the right footwear. You know, you're outside. You might be in something that's a little bit mucky, so maybe not your best clothes. Yeah, and that's it. Yeah. That's all you have to do to get involved with an organised event. On top of that, if you think, well, actually, my street's not on there. I'd really like to do my street, and so will a couple of my neighbours.
Get in touch.
But the website has been built in such a way that you don't even necessarily have to get in touch. You can put your event into the event calendar without logging in, without giving me any details, and then I will see it there. I'll get a notification, and if I'm free, and please don't do them back to back or 5 at the same place at the same time.
You've only got so much time,
If it does conflict with me, I'll arrange to get some equipment to you.
Yeah.
But especially the first one, I like to be involved. I like to sort of be there and shepherd, and then so I know what's going on. And I've got to get over that. Because I don't want me to be a blocker to this movement.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
But put it up there. The website's also built so the photo album. You don't need to log in. You upload your photos. So the website itself is an asset for the town. Whatever you want to do, you can put an event up, put photos up. It's open.
That's awesome.
Use it.
That's awesome. Well, Kev, thank you very much for joining me and being a part of this podcast today. It's been a really, really fun podcast to film, and I've genuinely really enjoyed chatting with you, man. Like, you're always such a delight. I got to sit with you. Oh, we didn't talk about your award. You won an award recently at Love Luton Awards.
Yeah, so very shocked to win Environmental Project at Love Luton Best. And then 2 weeks later, I won Hero of Biscuit Award. So thank you for both of those.
Yeah.
And really, it's not me. It's the number of people that have just joined in this movement. Yeah. Because, that's the people that are making the difference, not me.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. But yeah, thank you so much for all your work that you're doing around the town, and please don't stop. You know, we need you. We desperately need you to keep doing this work. Without people like you, the town's a lot poorer. So thank you for your service
No,
so
that's
far,
brilliant.
and I will continue to help you as best as I can in the coming future.
Yeah, look forward to next week, and we'll really show wait for that.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much, Kev.
All right, good.
All right, guys. Thank you very
Thanks,
much
guys.
for watching. Love you, Luton. Bye. Oh, well done, mate. That was very good.